Let me see. We got hey, nope. Good morning, everybody from Hippie, Maddie, and then Snow. Hey, let's help tap and get James to the FYP. That's right. Hey, gracias, highly appreciated. And hey, yep, that's right. We also got that. We got this stream running over here. If you look right here, you see that red logo, and type this
All
in
right, we
there.
are on the record. Today's the time and place set for an original hearing for Mr. Craig. Can you say your last name, sir, so I don't say it incorrectly?
BBRAITO.
BRAITO, offender number 79388. Is that you, sir?
Yep.
He looks dangerous.
My name is Kelly Perry. I'm a hearing officer with the Board of Pardons and Parole, and I'll be conducting your hearing today. Just so you know, I will be typing. I'm typing everything we're talking about and what everything everybody says at the hearing. I don't want you to think I'm not listening during the hearing. Also, the way my camera is positioned, you're going to see the side of my face probably the whole time. I am looking at you. It's just the way the camera is positioned, okay?
What was his name? I heard it, but I forgot.
As this is an official proceeding, I do need to swear you in, sir. So if you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Simón que sí.
Did you receive 7 days written notice of today's hearing?
Yes.
Did you receive your blue disclosure packet?
Oh.
Yes.
And did you have a chance to review that?
Yep.
Do you feel prepared to go forward with today's hearing?
Yeah.
Are there any errors or corrections I should know about in that blue disclosure packet before we begin today?
I don't have it with me, so no.
Okay. Well, we're going to be going over a lot of it today. So if you have comments, obviously, I'll be asking for comments throughout this hearing, and you can elaborate on that, okay?
All right.
Sir, I would note that some of the stuff we could be talking about today could be traumatizing or re-traumatizing. I don't do that to be rude. I'm just going over all the things I'm trying to go over through the hearing and get as much insight as possible. As far as how to procedurally, or how today's going to go, we'll go over procedurally how we got to this hearing. I'll go over a brief description of the offense. The longer version was that pre-sentence investigation. I'll ask you for any comments. I will then swear in the victims and take testimony. We'll go over any background questions I have, institutional behavior and programming, if you were released, what that would look like. Then in the hearing, if you have further questions or comments, let me know, okay?
All right.
All right. I believe
So
his
looks like
name
a
was
special
Craig.
attention happened in August of 2022. The board continued the original hearing till now with the sex offender treatment memo, which we'll
Oh.
also discuss today.
No
The board
bueno.
noted prior to this original hearing that they expected you to complete all available and recommended sex offender treatment program and cognitive behavioral therapy and to remain case action plan compliant. Restitution in case 1818000 will be addressed at this hearing. Does that sound procedurally correct, sir?
I guess.
Okay. In regards to the offense, I showcased 181800401. I showed the 10-year-old victim disclosed during a therapy session that her father, Craig, had
What?
sexually assaulted her and her
Ooh.
sister. He did this multiple times. One of the victims indicated it happened to her twice. Another victim reported he started sexually assaulting her at 7 years old. This stopped
Oh,
when he
man.
returned from prison. The victims were threatened by him. They described a sex toy that he used to sexually assault them. A victim reported being raped. He would cover the victims' mouths. Search warrant was executed, and that sex toy was located. Is that correct, sir?
Say what now?
Come on, man.
So I just went over the description of the offense as
Okay.
outlined in the pre-sentence investigation. Is that correct, sir?
If that's in the paperwork, then if that's what was on the ones I took the plea bargain for, then yeah.
So it is correct?
If you say so. I didn't do any of this stuff, but
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I'm having trouble reconciling that, right? So you're saying it's correct, but then you're saying you didn't do any of it.
I took the plea bargain so I wouldn't be fighting a live charge. That's what I told everybody.
Shh, hey, no way. No way anybody's going to
So
take
then I
a...
guess yes.
No way. No way.
Anything else you want to say about the offense?
No.
Is there anything you would like to say about victim impact or victim empathy?
Nah, because he's
No.
the victim. Knock it off. Hey, that's right. Hey, Ashton.
All
is
right,
straight
sir.
up clown.
I'm going to go ahead and take victim testimony at this point. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes,
Ma'am, can you state your name for the record?
Alicia Pede.
Ma'am, I want to thank you for coming today and making a statement. I'm going to go ahead and swear you in, okay? So if you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Ma'am, please make any statement you would like to make today. And once again, thank you for attending.
Okay. And then also, I will be reading my statement along with my now 16-year-old daughters, and then my oldest daughter, who is also, you don't want to? Okay. She doesn't want to say anything now anyways. But her
All
husband
bad.
would like to say something. Members of the board, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Alicia Peed. I'm the mother and ex-stepmother of the survivors of Craig BBRAITO. I'm here today to keep my promise I made my kids and stepkids the day I found out that he had been sexually abusing them. I promised them I would never let him hurt them again. You see, I will never forget the day I found out and the police came to have me take the girls to a women's shelter until they could be interviewed by the CJC. I went upstairs to tell them to pack an overnight bag, and they had a look of pure fear on their faces and were crying, saying, quote, he's going to kill us because we told he's going to kill us, unquote. In that moment is when I made my promise. I'm also here to remind the board of the promise that you made Craig the last time he was incarcerated, that if he returned, he would do hard time. Yet
Oh
here he
yeah.
is, back in prison on a more severe crime. I have a fear that if he gets out, another child will be harmed, and because my children told, his next victim will not be so lucky and have the chance because he will silence them permanently. The state will have a dead child by the hand of him. Craig is a master manipulator and lies so efficiently that he even has his mother convinced that he's innocent, that he was falsely accused by my children due to jealousy. She clearly states this in an article she published titled, quote, the alleged false allegations of Craig BBRAITO, a mother's view, unquote. Found at empowerinnocent.wixsite.com. He has convinced her that my oldest daughter at the time was, quote unquote, apparently secretly angry. She wasn't the center of attention anymore because Craig gained custody of his two youngest children and therefore made false allegations of abuse and had him arrested when in fact only myself, kids, stepkids, their counselor, and the police knew it was my youngest daughter, 10 at the time, was the one who bravely told after Craig's own daughter begged her to tell so the abuse would stop.
Yeah,
He
his own
has fed her
kids.
lies, saying he only took the plea after looking at quote unquote facts and statistics, not the fact that he was offered one heck of a deal, knowing he was facing charges in Cache County for rape of a child, potential charges in Utah County, along with his 2 counts of rape of a child, 4 counts of aggravated sexual abuse of a child, 2 counts of lewdness involving a child, and 1 count of sodomy upon a child in Uintah County, and was guilty. He has fed lies to everyone around him, shifting the blame onto his victims instead of taking accountability for his sick and egregious actions. He will sit here and lie to you, say that he does take accountability, but obviously that's not true. He doesn't even take accountability. Actions speak louder than words. I've seen the daily struggles my daughter went through and continue to go through to this day, dealing with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. We have to be mindful of things that trigger them. For example, something as simple as bananas. Because when my oldest came home
Damn.
from swim practice one day and went to get a banana for a snack, Craig exposed himself to her and stated, I've got something for you to eat. After I found that out, I no longer have bananas in my house. These are the kind of things my daughters will live with for the rest of their lives. My daughters haven't shared every detail of abuse they endured. I believe to spare me the anguish and guilt I would put myself through for not being able to protect them. But in order to prepare myself for today and make the most impact so that I am able to protect them now, I finally read the court documents that I've avoided reading for so long. After reading the detailed documents, I wept for my kids and stepkids. I was ripped apart all over again. I had the physical urge to puke and had to stop myself. When I told my youngest that I read the report finally, her response absolutely broke me with a simple, quiet, "Oh, Mama. Craig, you raped my children, stole their innocence, and stole their childhood, but you did not break their spirit." You deserve, with everything you did to my girls and Tawny's kids, you deserve to spend every single day of your sentence behind bars and not get out a second early. These kids were given a life sentence when you violated them. And just because you weren't, just know no matter where I am, what I'm doing, I will drop everything to be here every time you come before these board members, fighting to make sure you spend every possible second behind bars. Members of the board, when making your decision, please be mindful of the threats Craig made to these kids if they told. Quote, if you tell, I will kill you, unquote. Look at the person before you and imagine being a scared, broken, and abused child being told that by someone who is supposed to love and protect you. My children still live in Utah. Letting him out now or in the near future puts their lives at risk. Thank you for your time. Best regards, the proud mother of survivors.
On this one, I don't even
So
gotta
now
ask.
I will read the statement of my 16-year-old. Let me turn the light on so I can see. Dear members of the board, first of all, I would like to share my frustration that I'm unable to speak to you personally on a case that has changed my life. Having to use my mom's voice to express how I've felt about this situation since I was 3 years old. It has made me feel like I still have no power over my own voice. I would like to express to you the heartache that this situation has brought me. Being raped by Craig changed my whole life upside down. There is not one day that has gone by in the past 6 years this case has been going on that I have not feared him being released. I would like to bring to your attention that on a day-to-day basis, I was threatened death by a person I was supposed to be able to call dad. I trusted him with my life and no other choice, and he threatened to take it from me. I want to point out how if he can commit these heinous crimes towards his own children, it is completely unknown the fate of other kids that may come across him if you allow this monster to roam around the innocent public. I am terrified that his next victim will be presented to you by a death certificate. I am speaking now because his next victim won't be if you let him be a free man, like he has done nothing wrong. I would like to remind you the promise threat you made this man if he was ever seen by you again. I would also like to remind you that in the timeline that you let him roam the public free man, he ruined 4 kids' lives. This is no longer a simple case about drug abuse. So I expect you to keep your word and take this situation as seriously as possible. Not only has he took the innocence of small, vulnerable children, but he plans on taking away their future too. I would like you to take a good look at Craig, putting the never judge a book by its cover moral aside. Does he look like a man of innocence, change, and regret? Now let's take a look or take into consideration that this is the same man sitting in front of you showing no remorse, as she nailed it, no remorse at the sorry, I'm having a hard time reading her.
It's okay.
Take accountability for his own actions. The same man that only said he was guilty and took the plea because he looked at his options and this was the best deal he could get. This man that sits in front of you is not a man of dignity. And he has proved you that by appearing in front of your faces again, trying to claim he is still a man of God after doing all these crimes.
over in your office.
And then I'm gonna hand it over to my son-in-law.
Sir, thank you for attending this hearing. What, can you state your name for the record, sir?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Josue Mejia Peña. That's JOSUEMEJIAPENA.
All right, sir, if you could raise your right hand. Thank you for attending this hearing. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I do swear.
Okay. All right, sir, please make your statement. Thank you so much for attending.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, members of the board. So I'm here today, just to tell you guys this man in front of you, he's not a human being. I'm sorry for my language, but he's a piece of shit. I have lived with my wife. I've known her for about 1.5 years now, and she has woken up multiple times with nightmares about what this guy did to her. I'm sorry, not a guy, piece of shit. What this piece of shit did to her. I have to live with that. I have to live with all the tears. I have to live with all of that. And I mean, I don't understand how this man is, I'm sorry, not man, piece of shit, can't even go to, he's scared to go to prison, but he wasn't scared molesting little kids. He can't, he's scared to go to prison, but he was fucking molesting my wife, my sister-in-law, and his two biological, his two kids that are his DNA. He wasn't scared about doing that, but he's scared to go to prison. And now he's wanting to go out free. When he threatened my wife that was about, 7, 8, 9 years old, he threatened to kill her. She was just a little girl. And now my sister-in-law, she's still a minor. So he was doing all of this shit to her. She was younger than she is now. And keep in mind, she's only 16 right now. So she's younger than that with this piece of shit, was threatening her. And not only that, he raped his own boy. Who rapes his own boy? I have a little boy. I would never think in 1,000 years about touching my little boy like that. Like imagine that. Imagine, I'm pretty sure you guys have kids. Now imagine somebody like that doing something like that to your little boy, your little girl. Like, no, you guys need to throw away the key. He never needs to see that, the sunlight again. He needs to fucking die in there. Because it's true, he does. Because it's not going to change. All he wants is to come out. That's really all he wants. And like my wife, she's scared. She doesn't want to talk right now because she's scared. She threatened to kill her. Imagine living like that the rest of your life, knowing that this piece of shit is out and about. When he threatened to kill my wife when she was only a minor, imagine what he would do now. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you for all of your testimony today. Mr. Brito, I'm going to ask you for your response. I'm going to ask you direct it towards me, the hearing officer, and not towards the victims, okay? Do you have any response, sir?
Basura.
Yeah, these people are saying false things, stuff I wasn't even charged with, stuff I'm not even here on, stuff that was all found dismissed. So how can this guy come on here that I've never even met in my life? He was nowhere around the family, that has nothing to do with me whatsoever. I've never even heard of this guy until today.
He's
How is he
dealing with
allowed to
the.
even speak against me?
Well,
So
that guy.
the victim's allowed to have a representative, sir.
He's
and
not a
the
victim.
The victim herself is allowed to choose a representative to speak, and she chose him to speak, and he provided a statement on her behalf. Sir, do you have any other response?
I guess not.
Sir, what do you think your risks are moving forward?
I have no risk because I didn't do anything wrong.
In your mind.
I got the polygraph and the eye detector right here proving that my testimony was real, and that I was just not allowed to use this in court because we did a 702 motion. Because I passed it, they said they weren't going to allow it in as evidence. They said if I would have failed it, they would have used it against me, but because I told the truth, and these right here are the facts that I told the truth, and I believe you guys have a copy. I had facts.
I received the correspondence, yes, sir.
So I mean, this is proving my word is true and honest. I just wasn't allowed to use this in court.
Sir, you have been adjudicated guilty, okay?
Yeah.
This offense has already been charged, adjudicated, and from the board's perspective, that's what we see is the already adjudicated offense. So part of this hearing is to talk about the future. Are Are you willing to do sex offender treatment?
I've told everybody that I'm willing to do it, but I was told that in order to pass treatment, that you have to expect, you have to,
You gotta tell him what you did.
um,
Yeah,
what the hell is the word?
you gotta take
Take
accountability.
some accountability for your offense?
Yeah, accountability. And I'm like, if I did nothing wrong, what do I have to talk about in therapy? How am I supposed to pass therapy when I didn't do anything for these charges?
All right, well, one of the things I want to make sure I get to is that sex offender treatment report. It talked about your risk level. It noted that you were interviewed by the sex offender treatment program and you were found not amenable to treatment due to the fact that you deny committing any of the offenses. When interviewed on September 9, 2024, he continued denying the offense. It assessed you as average risk and recommended sex offender treatment. Do you have any comments about that?
No.
Yeah. Huh. No comment. Man, bury that dude. All bad.
Sir, I show a criminal history, right, that including a 2013 case where you threatened children with a firearm after, from my understanding, maybe they kicked your seat or something. Is
No.
that correct, sir? So that's not correct? So what did you do in that offense, the 2013 case?
The 2013 case, I was just, again, it was part of the plea bargain that I lived in a house with guns. My wife legally owned guns at the time, and her mom said that I was like waving them around. Her statement was I was waving them around the yard, yelling white power and stuff, which I have no idea, and listen to white power music, which I don't own, anything like that. So it's like, I don't know what this kicking the seat thing is. This is all new to me. I've never heard this one before, but it was just possession of firearm by restricted person in the state of Utah. There was no anybody seen me with guns, nothing like that. So
Are you saying that offense did not occur?
He's a victim. Everybody's
I
setting
lived
him
in a
up.
house with guns, and according to the state of Utah, for me as being an ex-felon at the time, to live in a house with guns, they had to be in a gun safe. All they had was the trigger locks in them. So that was the offense. I was living in a house with guns, which I didn't know that was a thing. I thought trigger locks was good. I didn't know they had to be in a gun safe,
Come on now.
because they would have been if I knew that law.
Okay, sir. I also show that in the pre-sentence investigation that you've used Percocet, alcohol, and meth, but you left the substance use section blank in your board packet. Can you explain that?
Yeah.
I've never
He didn't do it.
I used meth. I tried meth once when I was 18, so I don't count that. But the pills, yeah, I had back surgery and I was on pills for a couple of years.
Were you using pills during the offense?
What offense?
The offense for which you're currently incarcerated.
No.
And for anybody wondering, these are live. These are happening in real time right now. If
I
you,
haven't been on pills since 2013.
Okay. All right, sir. In regards to release plans, I showed that you'd like to live with your mother in Arkansas, and I didn't see any what you would like to do for work.
Well, the thing is once I'm out of here or off paper, whatever happens, as soon as these charges are done and I'm no longer on parole, if I get parole or if I'm off paper, whatever, I'm leaving the country. So if these alleged victims are so afraid, I'm not even going to be in this country as soon as I can get out of here. So,
preferably taking a dirt nap.
but yeah,
I don't know
what
what.
out of here. I'm gonna like if I get parole, I'm going to Arkansas, so I won't even be in Utah at all.
So obviously you understand if you are paroled, I don't know what the board's going to do, but if you are paroled, that you would need an interstate compact. There's a
Yeah,
fee,
I
there's
know
an
all that, yeah.
application. Okay. So I don't know what the board will do, but I'm just letting you know that obviously that's something you have to look into.
Yeah.
All right, sir. All right, so those are all of my questions. From here, I'm a hearing officer. I make recommendations. The board ultimately decides. They're made up of 5 members. 3 of them have to come to one decision. That's the decision of the board. You should get that in writing within 2 to 4 weeks. Anyone listening to this hearing can go to bop.utah.gov. As soon as we have the decision, we post it on our website. Just so you know, it still takes some time. It's not immediate. So obviously, someone can look that decision up while you're waiting for the written one, and anyone can look at that decision. I note your guideline, sir, is 83 months or April 10th, 2025. Just so you know, that's just a suggestion, right? The board can go below that date, above that date, same date they ultimately decides. And the expiration of your sentence, meaning the longest time the board could have jurisdiction over you, assuming no other offenses, is May 10th, 2033. Do you have any closing comments or questions for myself or for the board, sir?
No.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody's testimony today. I've made notes of everything everybody said. We'll go ahead and conclude. Thank you.
That dude is straight human trash. Basura. Like, he couldn't take any accountability for anything. Like, he even like the pew pew charges. No sense. This one I'm definitely gonna follow up on. I gotta know whether they deny him or they find them suitable. But at this point, there's no way in hell that they should find them suitable. So right now they stepped away. Right now, it'll probably just be me. Hey, if you're watching and you find some type of educational factor on this type of streams, hey, if you guys wouldn't mind looking us up right here at Collect Call From, and we're over here on another platform where we do have we have a better visual of the stream. If not, then you could also go directly to the state of Utah, whatever you prefer. But I highly appreciate it if you guys could hit that follow button, share the live, like it, all that good stuff. I try to do these on a daily basis, to make you guys aware of the type of things that are happening and the type of individuals, that they're letting out. It's definitely a scary world out there. I got to stay on my 10 toes whenever I go up to Utah, because you just never know.